Hi guys, and welcome back to Christian Cast, where I build bait so you don't have to. Today's going to be a exciting video once again, because we are going to do our first bait build with the MOBIUS 0.2. If you have seen the last video, I actually got it sent over to test, and I'll maybe put the video up here or there, and we'll be testing a new bait form. It's going to be a lipless crankbait. It's a little bit head heavy. I tested the blank itself already. The action is quite cool. I'll still see how it changes once we do the clear coat and everything on it. And we're actually going to go ahead and test the new airbrush, which I'm really excited about. I've done all the pre-settings that I would like, and we'll see how it goes. And if you're interested in getting into bait building yourself or anything, I've actually got a discount code from them, so you can check out all the products they've got, and they are really cool and high quality airbrushes. They've got compressors as well. I haven't tested a compressor of them yet, so I can't say anything about it, but I'm really happy. You all know I have been using the products along the way for my bait builds, so we actually used a other model, and we're going to be trying this model today to see if we get more details, how the spraying goes, and how it actually performs. So if you're interested, I'll put all the information down there. You can use my referral link and the coupon code, and you get a 10% discount, and it helps out my channel as well. And we'll see how it performs once we start spraying, and I'll set you guys up, and we'll straight away get into the bait build, and we'll see what we are able to make and create with this lure blank. So see you soon on the desk. So as you can see, we have got our bait pretty much ready. The first color we're going to be adding is our white. Most of you know I use the Valero colors, and we'll just go ahead and we'll start our first paint scheme with the new airbrush and go ahead and ground our bait. I've sealed it with super glue already, and now I'll just go over and cover the entire thing. So I'm spraying with the airbrush out of the box, and we'll see how it performs along the way. I'm quite happy. I'm going to still wait that this dries a little bit. Then we're going to go over and add a second coat, because I still see the lead hole, and that we get good coverage before adding any other colors. And then we'll see where this paint scheme takes us today. I have prepared different colors. We're going to be working with some olive green, some orchid or orche, I call it brown, some bronze, a little bit of orange for the belly, and some gold. And then we'll do the a little bit with some scales as well maybe today. So I've got not scales, I've got a stencil prepared, and we'll be adding a little bit of that, and we'll be doing something a little bit different for the next builds on this bait type. I've already got a second one prepared. I will maybe try and tape the fins separately, and see if we are able to keep them a separate color, or maybe even with the airbrush be very gentle and just color the fins in a separate step, but we'll see how that goes. So the next color we will be adding is our brown. So go ahead and add it to our paint cup, and we'll see. How it sprays, and we'll go over the back and actually go along the lines and make a nice first layer of color, because we'll be then still grabbing our bronze and our gold, for adding some details along the lateral line and also towards the top itself before darkening down the back with some olive green. So let's get started. So we got a little dot right here of our color. We'll try and wipe it down a bit, but we won't mind too much because we're going to go over the belly still at the end with some bright orange, and we'll clean that up then in the one of the last steps. So that's going to be the first layer of brown. So now we'll actually be going ahead and adding some bronze, and we'll be going over the middle line more and adding a little bit of bronze shimmer to the top, that we've got a little bit of shine, before adding a fine golden lateral line along the middle. Well, we have added our bronze, and we'll grab our bait and just go along a little bit here with a angle that we get a little bit of coverage as well to the top, and see how that goes. So you might see it's getting a little bit of a shimmer already, and we'll do that on this side as well. So now we have got our bronze shimmer as well, and we'll go ahead and pretty much leave that like that. I might go over the nose with a little bit, but otherwise I'm quite happy with how that looks. Now I'll put in the gold and try and add a little bit more of a shimmer before actually darkening the top with our olive green. So we'll see how that goes. Next step, we'll be adding our golden lateral line, and then I actually forgot, we will be adding our stencil before actually darkening down the top, that we can clean up the overspray that creates in the process of the stencil. So I set the trigger pullback to a minimal, that we can keep a constant paint flow over the lateral line, and we'll try and see how that goes. So that's going to be our lateral line on this side. And we've got it on the second side. And now we'll go ahead and prepare everything for the stencil. So for the next part, I put in some black, and I put a separate piece of paper underneath that there's no color residue of the former sprays. And now we'll align this and just go ahead and give it a nice coat. Just like that, and we'll let that dry. We don't have, because I'm using actually a stencil I printed for a other bait, we don't have the tail that much in, but we'll see if we can maybe align it a little bit different on the other side, or otherwise we'll bring the olive green a little bit down as well on the way, and we'll see if we fix that a bit, because we've got a bit of curvature of the stencil going down here, which isn't too ideal and I don't like too much, but we'll see what we can do, and we'll do that in the following step. So we're now on the other side, and we're still going to try and keep it quite symmetrical with the other side, so we don't care that it doesn't go over the entire bait, but we'll just see what this bait turns out like. There we go. So I'll be redesigning the stencils in the future, that we also can do baits like this and just change it up a bit, pull it into the length that I've got a stencil for this type of bait, because it's got a quite long tail, which is important for the movement, but you'll see that anyway. Now we'll go ahead, let this dry, and then we'll clean up the top with some olive green and the belly with some orange, and then we'll be heading into the scale pattern. So we've actually added our orange into the airbrush, and it is quite bright, and we'll go over the belly. I think we'll be doing 2 coats, that we actually can clean up the back a little bit still more, and then it will be pretty much ready for the scale paint in a moment. So I'll let this dry, go over a second time, and then we'll get everything ready for the scale paint, and then we'll start that in the next step. Well, we've prepared our bait. I'll see how the scales go, because through having the fin we've got a bit of protrusion of the net itself, and I'm really interested how that affects the pattern itself. But we'll see. I'll now go along the sides from a greater distance and make sure that we go ahead and get our scale pattern ready. So that's going to be that part. We'll go ahead and go over the top as well. Turn around our bait carefully and hit it from this side. So now we've got both sides pretty much ready. I'm now going to go ahead and add some bronze for the second layer of our scales, and we'll tilt our bait to the side and go from the front facing direction, and we'll make a little bit of a different kind of pattern, and I hope that it turns out as I'm planning. So we've turned our bait facing us, and I've added our bronze, and we're just going to go ahead and make a very direct cone from some distance. And that's going to be the scale pattern for us today, and we'll see what we got once I unwrap our parcel. So welcome back. The drying period is finished, and we'll start to undo our parcel. So we'll see how the scales turned out underneath. Seems like I'm quite happy with the shimmer. It will still change a bit under the clear coat. One sees here the mesh wasn't on completely, so it got a little bit more coverage as we would want it to, but we don't mind that. We'll now go ahead. I'll choose some eyes, glue them in, and then we'll start the clear coat, and then we're pretty much done. For this bait today, I have decided to go with some orange eyes because they fit the paint scheme quite well. So I'll go ahead and add them. So now we've got our bait. It's got a nice shimmer. I put this away and focus a bit on the bait itself. So we've got this bait. It's pretty much done. Quite happy with how it looks. It will still change in the clear coat still a bit, but I'll anyway take you guys with shortly because most of you know that process anyway already. So as I said, due to most of you anyway knowing this process, I'm just going to give you a small look of what the bait looks like under the coat, and then I'll get you guys back for the outro. I haven't updated my clear coating process yet. I'm still behind on quite a lot of projects, but we'll be getting there slowly but surely, and that is pretty much how it will look underneath. But I'll show you the finish result and a small sync test once we in the outro. Hi guys, and welcome back to the outro. So we have finished another bait build. I'll let you guys check it out. I'm actually quite happy with it. It turned out quite well. There's some things I would still like to change that have to do with the clear coat itself. I would really need to up my game with the clear coat and really see that I start maybe with a rotisserie or something like that, that we get very consistent clear coats, because I can actually see that on some parts of the lure they are thinner than on others. They are a lot better than they were at the beginning. So there is improvement, but they are still not there where I want them to be, let's say it like that. And I'm just going to show you guys what I meant with it is very top heavy. So we've really got a air pocket also along the tail that makes the tail pick up from the bottom, and the line tie is directly under the main weight chamber. So that's quite cool because it forces the bait, once it gets into movement, this back part actually starts to wobble from one side to the other, and that is exactly what we want. So that's quite cool. Back to the airbrush, I really enjoyed doing the first airbrushing tutorial. It really worked well for what I am doing. So if you guys want to check out their page, I'll put all the information at the bottom and you can check that out and look through. They've got tons of airbrushes, compressors, all kinds of things which you can play around with. So I'm not too sure if we'll be doing another airbrushing tutorial or if we'll go a bit into the technical design process of the lures, or if we'll be going a bit more back again into the direction of soft baits, because I want to actually test that form that I printed now, because it's a lot better than the first one I did, and I would also like to take them out and see how they actually run in the river. So we're not too sure what the next weeks will bring, but you guys can anyway follow along and see what I do. I also would like to go into the design process of molds, because it's actually quite cool and also quite funny to do, because pretty much every lure you print, you can easily make a mold for it. And I also might go into the direction of seeing if I can maybe make a mold that I can cast into. So we'll be playing around along the weeks, and I'll take you guys with, and you guys can see what I'm up to. And otherwise, I wish you guys a great one. Thanks again for tuning in and supporting me along the way, and keep on fishing, and we'll see each other next week. Cheers.